I'm going to take as many pauses as I need. Okay. Wait. I want to have an object to be my attacker. Whew. Hello, Edgar. This is really our first time meeting. I'm Rachel. It's very strange to say your name because I don't know you. I don't know you at all. But as I'll later elaborate on it in this statement, I am connected to you the way we are all connected to each other, each and every one of us. You wrote me a letter on October 5th describing how you would rate me, threatening me with "don't scream" over and over, and what would happen to me if I didn't listen. Well, my letter today isn't a threat. I'd like to give you that heads up. I'm not here to horrify you as you did to me. I'm here to hopefully help you. There is no justice in a system like this. Thank you for pleading guilty and admitting what you did to me, sparing me from having to testify or relive that day any more than I already do. However, I know locking you up for years won't solve the problem of your own trauma that needs healing. It does solve the problem of removing you from the streets where you are a danger to women, but only rehabilitation and mental health treatment today would be justice. So this is my victim's impact statement. That's what they call this. The impact your attack has had on my life has been all-encompassing. It's touched every facet of my being. It even caused me to not want to be, and to experience not being able to be me or inhabit my own body out of terror. I've suffered physical and mental damage and harmful, long-lasting bouts of post-traumatic stress disorder. I've lost all of my jobs from PTSD even before the pandemic, and countless nights of sleep. But still, I'm the lucky one. I've had access to treatment and therapy starting just a few days after you assaulted me. I've had assistance from the Victims of Crime Board, though they're severely underfunded while the police are overfunded, and my own support system of family and chosen family surrounding and holding me the whole way. Some of them have braved the virus to be here with me today. It has not in any way been easy, but I maintain I'm the lucky one. Now, if a woman who's been the victim of a targeted sexual assault by a stranger, a presumably psychopathic sexual predator, although I don't know your actual diagnosis because the defense did not share it with the DA, and she considers herself to be the lucky one, what does that say about this entire system, about this world we find ourselves living in? Well, rather than spend any more time on the impact your attack has had on me, I'd like to use the rest of my victim's impact statement to make an impactful statement on this entire system and the state of our world. I said I'm the lucky one. Another reason I'm so lucky is that I happen to be born white in a racist system. I've learned that racism does not mean discriminating against someone based on the color of their skin. It specifically means upholding whiteness as the ideal and condemning all other colors or races. Even as a woman, a class of people that is and has been oppressed for millennia, I've still had the upper hand because I'm white. You, inevitably, and even without knowing you at all, Edgar, have not. You are brown, you are Hispanic, and unfortunately, I can safely assume that you've faced racial discrimination, disenfranchisement, and disadvantage your whole life. Now, I don't know if this is true, but if you also happen to come from a low-income family and neighborhood, you've hit the Venn diagram of poorness and color that leads to a life of unimaginable and unfair difficulty in this world and system. And anyone who denies that is not living in reality. I wonder what led you to a life on the streets. I wonder if you were also on drugs, maybe meth, when you assaulted me. Your behavior that day would indicate so. I wonder what exactly your mental health diagnosis is, but I do not have to wonder if you've had a hard life. I know it must be true, and even though you've hurt me so, I hurt for you, and I feel your pain. I don't want to send you away to be re-traumatized over and over in the prison system, to send you into the threat of contracting COVID-19 in our overpopulated and currently rampant with the virus prison industrial complex, where my tax dollars will pay for you to stay, but a for-profit company will benefit from using you as legal slave labor under the 13th Amendment of our Constitution. To have you sit for 5 more years under this 6-year sentence deal you pled guilty to, just to be chewed up and spit out with no money in your pocket, only to return to the streets in likely worse mental condition, driving you to hurt more women, likely worse than you hurt me, and probably end up back in prison again. There is no justice in this system. Now, I realize it's not my job to figure out what happens to you next, but like I mentioned in the beginning of this statement, I am connected to you as I am connected to all human beings. We are one, and that is not some cheesy line from a song, it is true. There is no biological difference between races. We are all human beings. You are a human being, I am a human being. DA Emily Cole, who has been elected to hold the position of judge starting in 2021, is a human being. And at some point, our species got the idea of individuality, this idea that any of us can be separate from the next human being. That idea is false, and it is a killer. Not only for the fact that you and I both belong to oppressed groups of people, but for the fact that we are all people at all makes us one. Like the Ouroboros, a snake eating itself, we should all take caution to honor our connection, because being a human being, but thinking we are somehow separate, causes all the evil in this world. So yes, I am a victim advocating for my attacker's well-being. I'm advocating to try and find a way to help you so that all human beings can heal. Obviously, no one has advocated for you before. So although my mother worries that I'm taking on the weight of the world, I think to the Rabbi Hillel when I paraphrase his writing in the Talmud, if not me, who? If not now, when? Advocating for the oppressed, even when they're the one who hurt you, must be done if we are to ever advance as a species and get out of this horrible mess we call the patriarchy. Disgustingly, this same paraphrased quote was used by Ivanka Trump on Twitter once, but falsely attributed to the white actress Emma Watson. One small example of the blatant racism and appropriation exhibited daily by the entire Trump family. The people who live in our White House, even that name needs reconsideration. And I have to call that out because the fish rots from the head. Ironically, a Russian proverb. And the head of this country is rotten. This system is rotten. The whole fish of America is rotten. The only trickle-down effect this Trump administration has had on the world is its bigotry and life-threatening promotion of racist ideals. Judge, I don't have the exact answer to promote here. I know that he needs to be off the streets as he is a direct danger to women. I know that his mental health needs to be addressed, and honestly, I think it will take years of full-time mental health and trauma treatment to give him a chance to heal and integrate his own trauma so that he doesn't cause harm to others again. But I am pleading that you with your position of power and decision-making, study the options and find the correct solution. Feeding the beast of the prison industrial complex with this man's body and life do nothing for me. I will not thank you for carrying out that kind of justice. I hate that that word has lost all meaning in this rotten merry-go-round that causes mostly men of color to jump off and then on again, sometimes through no original fault of their own, only the original sin of racism. I've been informed that there are 2 prisons in this state of California, 2, that may offer mental health treatment to someone like Edgar. And I am depending on you to seek the correct solution here. It's as if I've found mold in the house and I don't want to sweep it under the rug because we'll all keep breathing it in. We're all connected. I want us to get to the root of the issue and heal it, not hide it away. I must also speak to the injustice, a word that does fit the gross mistreatment of colored men while idolizing and promoting the lives of white men, that runs this system. A fellow writer and survivor of sexual assault, Chanel Miller, the victim in the Stanford rape case most of us have heard of, comes to mind. Chanel's confirmed and convicted rapist, Brock Turner, let me repeat that, confirmed and convicted rapist, Brock Turner, served only 3 months in jail, then walked free and now lives in my home state, Ohio. It sickens me that this rich white boy who could afford fancy lawyers, who was charged with one of the exact same felonies as you, Edgar, attempt to rape, got to walk out because of the color of his skin and the amount of money he had backing him. It is unjust. It is not justice that you, even though you are both guilty of the same felony, will suffer more and will be used to feed the system when rich white Brock Turner got to buy his way out of his punishment. Because you are poor and brown, you will suffer a very different fate than Brock. Who will do something about this? Why am I, the victim and also belonging to an oppressed group of people, the one calling it out? Where is the justice? Where are the allies? When will this injustice system crumble or be burned down? If you weren't a danger to women, or there was some way I could transfer years off of your sentence and onto Brock Turner's, I would. I would transfer them onto our Supreme Court Justice, Brett Kavanaugh, another confirmed, though not convicted rapist, a man whose gambling debts were paid off with taxpayer dollars when this president, Donald Trump, pushed Kavanaugh through onto a life term on the Supreme Court. So white rapists can make the law, but colored people who attempt to rape someone while living on the streets with a mental health disorder just feed the system with their bodies and lives. If you weren't currently a danger to women, I would transfer years off of your sentence to the murderer cops who at the time of this writing still have not been arrested or convicted and killed Breonna Taylor, Atatiana Jefferson, Ara Rosser, Stephen Clark, Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, Michelle Cusseau, Freddie Gray, Janisha Fonville, Eric Garner, Gabriela Navarez, Tamir Rice from my home, Cleveland, Ohio, Michael Brown, Tanisha Anderson, and those are just a few of the Black and brown Americans who died at the hands of our killer police that still walk free. Justice would be a world where they go to prison, not just you, Edgar. Justice would be trauma treatment and therapy for them as well. I know many of our cops are ex-military with untreated PTSD in need of trauma work. So why am I bringing this up? They aren't here, and this isn't a case of police violence, but they are connected to us both. We are all connected. Until Black Lives Matter, brown ones don't like yours, and white ones shouldn't like mine. It's fucked up. But the fact that I am a white victim of sexual assault by a brown man can grab attention and headlines, so I felt I needed to address the true corruption that has led us all here today. To use my whiteness and platform to speak to the injustice system, as it should more aptly be called. We are not in some vacuum where you are wrong and I am right, where you deserve severe punishment and I can just go on living my life as if I have closure after today. Not even close. It's a million complexities and truths about our world that led us to here, Edgar, which is why I have to do my part in addressing the real problems if there's going to be any hope for changing the future. So I do hope we get some attention out of this. I hope with this statement I have planted seeds in the minds of everyone listening, in you, Judge, and in you, DA Cole, as you will be a decision maker with power come 2021. All humans deserve empathy and understanding. Justice comes not from this injustice system, but from the realization that we are all one and we all deserve help and healing. And that the work is on the shoulders of white America like me. Yes, what you did to me was wrong. It changed my life and my history forever. I will always have a part of my story where a predator broke into my home, spent 3 hours going through all of my things and laying a trap for me to fall into, then waited naked and masked, hiding under my bed like a true monster for me to come home, alone, so he could rape and maybe kill me. But I got out. I'm the lucky one, and I can handle it. That's why I'm taking on the weight of the world. Because, I'll say it again, if not me, who? If not now, when? Thank you. Edgar, I truly wish the best for you and for all human beings. Thank you.